Welcome back, Jay.
Good to be back, Ari.
We had fun watching the comic skewer Donald Trump's failures at comedy, but there seems to be more going on there. And I'm not just saying that as, a journalist on TV looking for an angle. I've seen years where the White House Correspondents' Dinner is something we almost completely ignore. But the larger problem he had executing in the speech, communicating, keeping one train of thought, and the larger potential mood in the country. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream of culture. And I think, we talk a lot about policy and politics, but I think MAGA and Trump have lost the culture. Put it quite simply, Trump is not cool anymore. And I know a lot of MS viewers may be like, well, when was Trump ever cool? Well, I would say 18 months ago. You remember after he won the election, you had Hollywood stars like Sly Stallone go down to Mar-a-Lago. You had big country music stars like Carrie Underwood associated herself very much with Trump. Morgan Wallen, just stormed off the set of SNL as a sign that he was not down with the woke comedy of Saturday Night Live and wanted to get back to God's country, the places that had voted for Trump. You had athletes doing the Trump dance in football and UFC. Kristen Pulisic, the U.S. soccer team captain at the time, did it as well. Now nobody's doing the Trump dance. The last time you saw the Trump dance was when Belgium did it after beating the U.S. to mock Trump. You don't see any stars or celebrities or musicians who want to associate themselves with Trump. At his America 250 celebration, he couldn't get anybody to perform. He couldn't even get Milli Vanilli to accept his invitation to be at that America 250 celebration. So it has fallen quite far for Trump. He is no longer seen as cool. He is no longer seen as ascendant. And the MAGA brand is not seen that way either.
I think that makes sense what you're saying. I mean, we have the Washington Post here talking about a lack of enthusiasm for Republicans, even among the traditional MAGA base that they see as downright, quote, scary. As you said, downstream from the culture, is this a general mood that he is played out, that he didn't just lie to the other guys? Politics can be very much a competition that's zero-sum, and people will excuse certain things on their side. I think when the history is written and you look at the inflection points that actually hurt Trump, Epstein, the war, and of course these prices people have to pay, these are all areas where people aren't saying, oh, I never knew he lied. I never knew he exaggerated claims about his Democratic opponents, but rather, oh, he rolls like this on you. He's as disloyal to the people who are loyal to him as he is fierce and angry at everyone else. And while you mentioned our viewers, yes, informed news viewers might say, I noticed that with Michael Cohen, first year out. I noticed that with a bunch of other stuff. The scattershot has gone so wide now that, as mentioned, the podcasters who don't follow every detail, people who are just kind of looking up and noticing big storylines, say, oh, wait, he betrayed them, as that podcaster put it, on everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think what has really happened is Trump, to a lot of Americans, now just looks like a normal politician whom they dislike. When Trump first burst on the scene,